I burned my arm yesterday.
All right, good evening. This is the CSRN podcast, our weekend review. Hey, family, this is just our soft open. We're going to put 5 minutes on the counter so that those of you that see us live, you can tell your friends. I think Shannon, I tagged quite a few people, so I'm expecting at least 3. All right, if you want 3, you got to tag 30. So let's put the timer on. Let's get some music on.
Okay. Thanks for joining me, y'all.
All right, we are back. This is CSRN Weekend Review, our weekly podcast where we talk about some of the things we've done last week, the things that we're working on right now, and some of the things that we got coming up in the future. First, I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. I use the pronoun he and him. I'm one of the co-founders of CSRN, along with Mike Leonardi and Jabril Bay, who 7 years ago they had this idea, Shannon, that you didn't have to be a politician, pastor, professional, or preacher to speak truth to power. There's a lot of us lay people. We may attend the church, we may attend the mosque, but we don't have to ask permission to do good. Just come together, find some viable solutions, and let's do it. Hey, what I want to do right now, I'm going to read our mission statement. Then we're going to introduce you, and we're going to get right on into it. If anybody haven't heard our mission statement, which is what we're about, and if you're a grassroots organization, it would be wise to put together a mission statement, because once people start seeing you, Shannon, shine, then people just come out of the woodwork to try to change what you're doing. And if you don't have it in paper, it's not hard to get distracted. These are our mission statement. We are the Community Solidarity Response Network of Toledo, formed on November 25th, 2014, the day after it was announced that the killer of Ferguson, Missouri police officer Michael Brown, an unarmed teenager, would not be indicted. We bring awareness to the injustices experienced by Black men, women, and children who are disproportionately murdered, attacked, provoked, and harassed by law enforcement. Police brutality has to end. We bring to awareness that the fact, and most often, police brutality goes without consequence and accountability. Police impunity has to end. We utilize the tactics of protest, civil disobedience, event disruption, and citizen advocacy to give voice to those who are otherwise voiceless. We facilitate progressive, community-based events, which we were going to be talking about in a few minutes, events that help to foster self-development, and we discuss measures to hold local leadership accountable to their sworn duties, be they politician, clergy, law enforcement, educators, etc. We want justice, equal justice under the law. We want justice applied equally, regardless of creed, class, or color. For all lives to matter, Black lives must matter. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. That last quote, that's our brother, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As I said, I'm Brother Washington Muhammad. And today, for those who may stream this and you're not watching it, because we'll be streaming this on Spotify, follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is weak, so we're trying to get some subscribers right now. And what I have on today, I've got on my chakra beads. I've got my yellow CSRN shirt that says "All Black Lives Matter, Justice or Else," and I'm dedicated to respecting, protecting, and defending all Black bodies, no matter the cost, no matter the gains or loss. This is the headquarters of Black Lives Matter and Justice or Else, and we're streaming live from Mott Branch Library, or as they call it, Makonda. And next week we're going to be in Room B, and we're going to invite the public out. Hey, get a chance to watch us. So that's who I am. Who are you? What do you have on?
Well, my name is Shannon Riven, and what am I wearing? I am my ancestors' wildest child.
That's right, man.
And I always represent with my ankh, represents the circle of life.
That's right.
So yeah, that's who I am. Just a person that wants to see my people better.
All right. And when we launched our, we put together and mad praise to Jody, Julian, Ruth, and the others that helped put all this together. They put me on the 1 yard line, and all I got to do is walk it over. All right. So just want you to know that. All right. Within our agenda, we posted Shannon Ribbon, the state of the Black community. and I want to discuss with you. Um, Maybe a week and a half ago, we had Dr. Umar in town, and our last podcast, when he was on his way, our sound was messed up. All right, human error. It is what it is. Now we're a little bit better.
Yes.
Well, a lot better. All right, because we're doing what we were supposed to do a couple of weeks ago. I want to unpack first, how did it even happen that you decided Dr. Umar should be in Toledo? He's never been.
No.
No one ever had the courage. All right. All right. I don't, it just is. I don't want to apologize for anybody. Hey, you know who you are.
Yeah.
All right. You had a chance.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So, how did that even happen?
Um, it really just happened with me recognizing the state of Toledo. Obviously, we see what's going on abroad,
Yeah.
with the media kind of sharing certain events, but knowing what's going on right here in the city and watching our kids, literally our children, murder and be murdered almost daily, was enough for me to reach out to him specifically because I know that no matter what, while he loves all people and I share those same
Yeah.
exact sentiments, I have a loyalty to my own. And that was my reason for reaching out to somebody like him because the Black family needed to have a meeting. That was the
Mhm.
way I looked at it, as we needed to come together and really lay out exactly what our issues are, where we can change,
Right.
make people accountable, the proper people accountable, and who better than somebody like Dr. Umar Johnson, who definitely shakes some, what do you call that? He just kind of like ruffles some feathers a little bit. You
And
know what I mean?
we
But he
were,
brings a point.
well,
So
truth hurts. Um, some people might say, well, Brother Washington, why would you support someone that's controversial?
sure.
All right. Well, look at the word controversy. It means something contrary to whatever's being told. So, being controversial, Christ was controversial. All right. A lot of people didn't like him. The government didn't like him. The money changers didn't like him. The religious people didn't like him. He would be called controversial. So I think that we're in good company. All right. I also wanted to ask you how difficult. Well, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and ask. How difficult was the planning? Because when I got to the church, everything's already set up. It was like, man, look, the young people that open up would lift every voice and sing. They had some spoken word. It looked like you were ready for us. There was programs. There, man, what was the level of difficulty of having that in your mind, and now it's here, and you're seeing it?
Yeah.
Talk to me about that.
Well, first of all, being raised in church, being in church all my life, I kind of understand program, you know.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then me being, I was a praise and worship leader for some years, choir directed for some years. So I kind of understand how to do a thing, but I've never been the single person to do it.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it was really like a stretch for me to do that. But because my heart was so ready, I was willing to do whatever I had to do. And so I did. And the planning part, it was getting people to say yes, getting a church to say yes, because
Yeah.
that's where I wanted to do it.
Beautiful.
Reaching out to certain pastors who just left me on read. You
Okay.
know what I mean? And it was kind of tough.
And
to
we
be
will.
honest.
All right. I'm part of the faith business community because that's what it is.
Mhm.
And some of us know when to shut up. So to ask support for something that's going to benefit our community, most of us as religious leaders will say, well, I'd do it, Shannon, if it was for everybody.
Yep.
Well, I live right here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
These
yeah.
are the people that I come in contact with. Not that I don't like anybody else, but I don't see them organizing something and asking me
Yeah,
to
I
attend
mean,
that.
at the end of the day,
Man.
if Chinese people have a meeting, They're not inviting Black people.
No.
If European Jews have meetings, they're not inviting us to them. Arabs, they have meetings, they're not inviting us.
Right.
We have one, our own people.
Right.
And I have had that experience just within this time where it's like, well, don't you think it'd be better if we had somebody else instead of Dr. Umar Johnson? You
Like
know what I
who?
mean?
Okay, like who? Like,
And-
and I would tell people, like who? If you can find somebody that everybody agrees with, that's the person that you don't want.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. We need the person that's going to ruffle the feathers,
Right.
kind of, and make you think and make you accountable. You know what I mean? Because to be honest, we don't organize, we don't galvanize like we should.
Right.
You know, and to really like stretch and do the thing that makes you uncomfortable. We as a collective don't do that. Yes, we have the individuals, I being one of them, you know, that is ready to really be on the front line. Like, how do we need to do this? I may not have all the answers, but you may have some. I
Right.
may have some, and together we're gonna make this happen.
That's right.
You know, we're gonna make something shake. So that was really my objective. But it was really tough planning it, but I was able to do that with the help of a lot of individuals that I did want to kind of speak on when, you know, as we get further into
All right. Well, I'm at 627. Soon we have our brother that calls for our correction institution update. And unfortunately, a lot of our brothers that's locked down, they only get the phone for a particular time. And when you're in maximum security, sometimes they only get a chance to come out once. So our brother Omar Gent, he should be calling within a couple of minutes. Let me take a short break, and we're going to come back, do some of the things, but we may be preempted by our brother calling from Colorado. Hey, family, this is the Community Solidarity Response Network. Our weekend review. We'll be right back.
Did you know addiction is a disease, not a moral dilemma? The opioid epidemic and substance use have a major impact on communities of color and many people's lives. Wasion Wellness Recovery Support Center offers culturally relevant inpatient and outpatient behavioral health treatment and recovery support services to any Ohioan struggling with addiction, mental health, or finding sober-safe housing. We must recognize that treatment is available and accessible to all. If you are in need of treatment or want to find out more information, you can call 1-888-728-2713 to talk to someone or schedule an appointment.
All right, we are back. We're back. This is the CSRN Weekend Review Podcast. I've got my sister, Sharon Riven, that's here to talk about Dr. Umar, who was in town maybe a week and a half ago. Family, this was my first time ever seeing and hearing Dr. Umar in person. Yes, you might have seen him on YouTube. Yes, you might have seen somebody else post something about him out of context, and that's true too. However, Give me 1 second, family.
Global Tel Link. Except for approved attorney calls, this call may be monitored or recorded. I have a prepaid call from
Even though this was my first
an inmate at a Colorado correctional facility. For customer assistance, billing inquiries, or to block future calls, dial 1-877-650-4249. To accept this call, press 5 now. To decline this call,
All right.
for using Global Tel Link.
That's Global Tel Link. We have on the phone our brother Omar Gent, freeourbrothers.com. Brother, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, brother. It's kind of low, but I can hear you.
All right, let's see if we can bump up the sound a little bit. Let me know if that, let's work on this while I'm right here. All right, what about now?
It's a little bit better.
All
yes,
right,
sir.
Great. Hey, listen, first, brother, glad to have you here. For everyone that may have not heard you before, and for anybody that's not hearing him, if you could log on to our page, Community Solidarity Response Network, where we are streaming live, you can hear our brother Omar Gent talk about what's going down in the I don't want to call it the Institute of Correction, because they don't correct us there. All right, they don't do none of that. They warehouse us. All right, and I'm a witness to that. Right, and that's what it is. Brother. First, before we go any further, could you introduce yourself, who you are, and we're going to put your webpage up too. Who you are, and why are you still involved in the struggle?
All right. Thank you, my brother, and everybody who put this platform together, and to everyone that's listening. My name is Omar Gent. Just humbly like to say I'm just a messenger to just bring the public truth about the injustice system, specifically what's going on in Colorado that affects people from all over the world. You know, this illegal lockup system that's explained by my website, freeourbrothers.com, goes into different states and jurisdictions and brings people back, whether they be innocent or guilty, without charges, and just railroads them in warehouses, like the brother was saying, for profit, prejudice, and power. So I'm in this fight because, I've never been someone to run from a fight. Now I'm fighting for the right thing, So through the grace of Allah, I've been able to build this platform with the help of CSRN team and various other supporters.
All right. Right now, I've got our sister Sharon Riven here. And remember, a week and a half ago, we had brother Dr. Umar in town, live and in person. And this is the sister that put it together, brother. She did a phenomenal job. And anytime,
salute.
Yeah, and anytime you bring a brother or sister, either Dr. Umar or Angela Davis, whom people might say, well, they're controversial, and you're going to take some shots, all right? And you're going to have to really prove, is this what you really want to do? So the sister, man, they did an excellent job. So I wanted to ask you this question. Could you give us at least 10 things that families could do to support their brothers, their sister, their husband, their wives that's incarcerated? How would you answer that question?
Biggest thing will be, like you always touch on, self-care, connect with God, the creator, to self-care, because if you can't take care of you, if you don't know what's going on inside of you, you don't know how to deal with your own stress, it's nearly impossible to be there for someone else, effectively, taking on their stress, especially somebody that's incarcerated, can maybe push you over the edge, So if you don't learn to plug in, even if you don't believe in the creator, just, meditating, just taking care of oneself before you can reach out, because, prison with all this darkness and this attacks, it's very intense. So you have to be in tune with, you and taking care of yourself, and maybe taking a breather, just if it's just 10 minutes, just to slow down sometimes and just detox.
Yes, sir.
And I would say, I wrote down several things, but I would say forgiveness is, to me, that's what sticks out of my mind. To forgive. Everybody, everybody in prison is not, was not put there justly or not, innocent or not guilty of the crime. They may be innocent. What we know also that the prison industrial complex is built on injustice, and social economic problems and various things. But I would say forgiveness is very important. Forgive that person maybe for offending, against you or the family or just for being in prison in general, and allow yourself to forgive them for hurting you, disappointing you and other people, because if you don't do that, then, you can't keep that bond going, or if something arises to test the bond, it's going to be broken up, so forgiveness is very important.
You said you wrote down, and why do you think forgiveness is so important? Because most people may look at forgiveness as accepting the person, accepting what they did wrong, or letting something slide, or being timid and afraid. Why do you think forgiveness is so important for our families to realize?
Well, I don't want to rub nobody the wrong way, but to speak to you truthfully and honestly, we've been taught in the Black community to forgive everyone but ourselves, forgive everybody in our community, forgive other people that offend us. But when it comes to our own, we've been taught to not forgive, to hold grudges maybe to the day that person dies and even after, and if we're going to move forward, as a unit, as a family, as a community, there has to be some kind of forgiveness, because not just some kind of forgiveness, but a genuine forgiveness,
right.
An open conversation, because people have been hurt, they've been traumatized, or just maybe being a father, you weren't present because you were, incarcerated for the last 15 years. So it had to be an honest conversation, and the children have to forgive the father for just being behind those walls, but to hold that against someone because of their situation, how can you move forward and just free yourself from that prison of this bitterness or hostility or whatever you may have towards that person? When you forgive them, you letting yourself out of prison. You're letting yourself out of prison first and foremost. So it's very important.
All right. Something I wanted to ask you, not saying how many numbers I got, but I do know what it's like being incarcerated and coming home and having a lot of mixed feelings about me. How would you guide our families, for some of us that are returning citizens that are serious about making a change in our community? How would you speak to that the best way you can, brother?
Can you repeat that question a little again, because it was so low on that one? Say that again, please.
All right. I'm talking about, I had said that not to say how many numbers I have, but I do know what it's like coming home. All right. And I do know what it's like having those feelings of uneasiness from our family. And there are some of us that are coming home, Omar, and we really want to make a difference in our community. How do you guide families on accepting us? Those of us that are serious, not some of us that I know that are on their way back, because recidivism is a real thing. All right. And I don't want to sugarcoat that. But for those of us like yourself that are coming out, all right, and we're going to hit the ground running too on your first day, all right? Debbie, we putting you to work, all right? Your first day, you might get 4 hours sleep, but then, no, brother, we doing everything you said you're going to do, all right? So how would you guide our families on accepting us when we come back?
Well, my wonderful brother, I read, forgive me for anybody that's educated on the culture of our people, the African people. I read something yesterday I just came across, and I thought it was so beautiful in the wonderful Final Call newspaper, and it spoke about the Maasai tribe. And I don't know if I'm quoting, verbatim, but I remember they said that they have a wonderful ceremony that when the sons come home from their journey of being warriors, the sons will go dye their hair red, and they come home from the journeys of being warriors, going through that hardship, that adversity. You got people out there got to walk up and slap a lion in the face to become a man. Whoa, slap a 800-pound beast in the face, 600-pound beast in the face to become a man. So when these brothers come home, the mothers, they shave their hair and they purify themselves to welcome them in from that. It's a beautiful, to me, there's so much said in that. Like, okay, you're returning home to us. Let's purify. Let's make this big ceremony. Let us, wash ourselves, purify ourselves. And brothers that's coming home, sisters that's coming home, we need to come home to that type of ceremony, whatever it may look like for, your family, your community. This welcoming ceremony where we maybe go to the beach. I was thinking about it. Maybe get in the water, or whatever we got to do. Get in the lake, or just go to somebody's gravesite and say a few words. Just purify that, and then come together in healing and have that conversation and that commitment of love, my brother. And I think that's very necessary. I mean, the ancestors that gave us the keys, we just been disconnected from it at times.
Beautiful. I got one other thing to ask you. Before I ask you some of the handles that you use for your website, for the Instagram, because I know you use that. And if I'm not mistaken, do you still utilize the Facebook?
Yes, the Instagram, the Facebook, and I'm trying to keep the Twitter going too.
All right. And how can we, for those that are going to stream this later or watching this now, how can we support you right now?
First and foremost, I would like everybody to go freeourbrothers.com and sign the petition, and please spread the word. We need more platforms and good people involved in this fight, media-wise, wherever it can be. And please join Instagram at Free Our Brothers. That's Instagram at Free Our Brothers. Follow that page. I'm trying to become more active with that page. It's kind of difficult being behind bars and having access to it, but I'm gonna get on it, y'all. I'm gonna get on it.
Yes,
and Facebook at Free Our Brothers as well, and Twitter at Free Our Brothers. So these are the handles.
All right, and lastly, right here in Toledo, we have a maximum security prison right here in Toledo, and often some of the brothers are denied to go on JPay. They can't have internet access, and some of their letters are disrupted from coming out. I get yours well, but however, I'm right here in Toledo, and families are struggling to get that word out, and I'm waiting for anyone. So anyone that's streaming this, if you've got a loved one at TCI, contact us at CSRN. We'll try our best to link up with that brother the same way we link up with Brother Omar and make sure they're telling their story directly. So for our brothers at TCI, words, if you have any words of encouragement for our brothers that sometime engage in hunger strikes, and I support that. They engage in work stoppages, I support that. Anything that they can do to regain the humanity that they deserve. Brother, what would you say to our brothers that are at TCI at this moment?
I would say just thank you, brothers. Your energy is felt every time the brother Muhammad mentions you. I feel the energy. It inspires me. Don't give up. Don't give up. Never give up. The enemy, the rise of our people, they're very afraid because you're challenging the injustice of the system and you're speaking truth to lawless power. So just know that everything you're doing is just bigger than this moment and this time. It's going to save so many people. So thank you. And shields up, revolutionary greetings.
Brother, be it the will of God, we will speak with you next week. And please, brother, keep it going. We're going to be for you. We're here for you out here, brother.
Yeah, and also, brother, in that last letter I wrote you, it was that statute. It talks about the mail theft. I put that in one of those recent envelopes. Talks about the mail theft. How it's a federal crime for them to take that mail. So when you get some time, go over that, and then you have an additional weapon in the arsenal.
All right, and I can share that with hopefully some of the families that contact us about their loved ones at TCI and any other prison that they're in.
It is a federal crime. Mail theft is a federal crime punishable by fine and imprisonment. So thank you all.
Thank you, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Hey, family, that's our brother Omar. We're going to let me take a short break, regroup. Always hearing that, brother, that's organizing as we're striving to organize out here to make our families and our community a safe and decent place to live. We got a short clip from a program that's doing a phenomenal job, Brothers United, right here in Toledo, maybe a few blocks from where we are right now. Family, this is the CSRN Weekly Podcast. We will be right back.
Pathway Incorporated Brothers United program believes that children are important. Every day we support and advocate for fathers because when children have involved fathers, the whole community thrives. The fathers that come into the Brothers United program are mostly young fathers who are primarily gang members or drug dealers or those involved in lots of trauma from the time when they were youth until now. This program has fatherhood classes which teach you about your role as a father, the importance of being a father, healthy relationships, how to co-parent and work better together with your co-parent, and then economic stability, how to get a job, how to keep a job. It is so important for fathers to learn to take care of their children holistically, not just emotionally, not just physically, but financially as well, because children need a holistic approach.
I really just needed help with being a better father and looking for a job to be able to support my kids.
Some of the problems I was facing when I joined Brothers United was communication with my children. Had some time apart from each other for a while, so they gave me the tools to really get back in communication with them.
Fathers will come into our program with their heads down. 2 weeks later, their heads are up. 3 weeks later, they're laughing and talking. 4 weeks later, they're building a bond. And by the time we get to 8 weeks, they're saying, hey, we want to stay here. What can we do to stay connected?
It gave me a better perspective on how to look at things from other people's point of view. You know, sometimes us as men, we get caught up in being prideful and arrogant, thinking we don't need the help. We do. And we just have to put our pride, selfishness, and arrogance to the side. And when the help is there, take it.
Hope plays the most important role in everything that we do because we have to have hope. We have to remember that fathers are important, and we have to not only say it, but we have to live it, we have to breathe it, we have to do it, we have to convey it to everyone.
Let's get a BU Nation on 3, fellas. 1, 2, 3. BU Nation!
The dads give us hope. The dads supply for us on the days when it gets hard. On the days when we've seen more violence than we ever want to see. On the days when we've lost some dads to jail or to murder, they give us hope. And so the hope that lives can change, if you invest in them, if you believe in them, then lives can change.
Brothers United changed my life, let's say, because of where I come from, what I've been through. I learned to understand it is help out there. Don't be scared to ask for it. If you don't reach, you can't grab. That's it.
They made me more employable, more desirable by employers, which in turn helped me provide for my family and provide for my children and my grandchild. So it makes me a better man, a better father, and a better example.
It showed me like how to be better to my kids, so I went and got custody of my son. My son been with me for a couple months now. So this showed me how to be a better parent all around, just a better man, period.
Initially, I didn't know that it could change men's lives. I didn't know that fathers could change. But it's amazing to me when fathers come back a year later, 2 years later, and tell us thank you. or they'll make a Facebook post and say, look at what I'm doing now. It's amazing to me about the level of work that we've been able to do and the lives that we've changed in just a short period of time. And the fathers who come back and say, thank you, I needed you, and you were there.
And shout out to Brothers United, man.
I don't know why. Oh, I was gonna say, I don't know why our tech team always leave that black space right in front of me. All right, hey, listen, family, we are back. This is the CSRN weekly podcast. We talk about the things that we've done last week, some of the things that we got going on right now, which is the Educated Activist Saturday program every Saturday at the Frederick Douglass from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Join some of the members of CSRN. Join the executive director, Ruth Leonard. And she does a great job of educating our young people on some of the things that they need to know so that they can navigate themselves through the school year. I think that's important, really important. So join Ruth and her staff every Saturday, Frederick Douglass, the Educated Activist Saturday program, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. If you didn't sign up, man, just drop by. Tell them Brother Washington said you could just drop by. All right, I'll take whatever consequences I get from them. But we need all of our young people to get educated. Back to you, Sister Shannon. We're talking about Dr. Umar. We talked earlier, and thanks for being patient.
Oh, absolutely.
All right. We talked about the planning. We talked about some of the obstacles that you deserve to have some obstacles.
Yeah.
All right.
And I expected it.
Yeah, and having some reasonable expectations is really important in planning. It's not going to be a cakewalk. You are going to have some people that push back. Yeah, people are going to leave me on red. All right, they will.
Yes.
And that's cool because at least now I know I've got some data. Mm-hmm. So nobody's going to waste my time. Mm-hmm. All right, so I know, and I tell the young people in organizing now, because some of the things that we organize, people come out the woodwork and say, hey, listen, Brother Washington, if you guys just come and meet with us, no, because I know what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
No, we're not. I'm not going to renegotiate. We already pushed all the buttons. We already pushed the go lever. Yes. All right. If you find out something that I'm doing, it's a great job. It's a great chance. It's a done deal. All right. So, hey, listen, I want to talk about the day that he got here. Yeah. What were your thoughts about everything that he said? The best part that I love about our brother is unapologetic. Oh man. All right. We don't have to have that. I call it the slave disclaimer. Whenever you speak truth to power for your people, before I even speak, I say, first, I want everybody to know that I love everybody. Yeah. I believe that I love all colors, especially green, purple, and pink. Come on, bro. You don't have to do that, sis. You don't have to do that. And we didn't get that with Dr. Umar.
Oh no. He's definitely unapologetic. I'd say that for sure. And that day when he was here, leading up to it, honestly, for anybody that does not know this, and they wouldn't, because if you've never met him, you wouldn't.
Right.
One of the most humble guys you ever want to meet. One of the most kind, and you feel that energy from him. Just to speak on the end, when it was time to do the book signing, he had the ladies line up on one side, all the guys line up on another side for pictures.
Right.
He signed every single book.
That's awesome.
He took pictures with every child, every man, every woman. He laughed with them. He was ready. He was prepared. It was hot inside and outside, and he was prepared. I mean, he is a really down-to-earth type of guy. So it's unfortunate for the people who have this thought about him without actually knowing him. Kind of like that kid at the school that people say don't talk to him.
Yeah.
You don't even know him, so you just don't.
Right.
You don't know you actually missing out on something special. You know what I mean? That's kind of like that energy I feel.
Yeah, and it's a part of slave seasoning too. And slave seasoning is alive and well in 2022. They said the same thing about Nat Turner.
Oh,
They said the
man.
same thing about Denmark Vesey. They said the same thing about Marcus Garvey. They said the same thing about Elijah Muhammad. They said the same thing about Muhammad Ali. All right. They said the same thing about Dr. King. You know, so anyone that looks as if they're about to free our people,
Oh, yeah.
there's
Right.
all they will dispatch some of us that look like me. All right. They could even have the last name Muhammad.
Yeah.
You know, so that slave seasoning, it knows no bounds, and they will send that person to you to hopefully try to distract, discredit, discourage, and disrupt, all the D's. All right. And I'm so glad that everybody got a chance to hear him in person. I'm so glad that he took the time afterward to meet with everyone. Most speakers, after they're done, they are out. All right. And the quality, and I also say this, the quality of his stay. He didn't have a hurried tone. All right. He wasn't, I really got to go. I know, it wasn't that. And if you come in, man, you can even say the same thing about my sister right here. You have no idea how calm, how poised this sister is. Even though you might say, well, she just did all the, man, this sister is humble. She gives credit to all those that were a part of this. And we were going to talk about some of those that assisted those who were named, and some of those who aren't named, but they were still a part of this. I'll speak to that if you could.
Well, honestly, first of all, the church. I really do appreciate Greater New Psalmist Church for opening up their doors.
That's right.
To allow us to be able to house that event without reservation.
And who's our bishop?
Bishop Breon.
All right. I said ours. He's mine too.
Yes. And I mean, honestly, I'm sure he probably has, some people or probably had some individuals saying certain things to him because there were some statements made about, oh, how could he use, bad language inside of the church? And what I said to that was, I get it. We were all sitting there. We heard. Okay. But with that being said, the church is not just that building.
Man.
The church is you.
Look.
What do you do?
Look.
Every single day? I mean, this is just an honesty moment. The church is not the building. That is an edifice, yes. But you are the temple. What do you feed your body?
Right.
Daily.
Right.
How do you walk as the place that God is supposed to be housed inside of?
That's right.
Let's not put so much emphasis on that building. What information did you receive, did you hear that you can take back?
That's right.
We want to look at the spiraled up. We want to look at the positive in this.
Right.
We're not trying to go down. We're trying to build up. So what could you have gotten and eat off of that, feed off of that,
right.
Feed that to the people that are closest to you.
Right, man. Sister Shannon's, man, stay strong in that, because everything that you do that has value is going to have a difficulty factor attached to it. And no matter if you gave away 20 Mercedes Benz, somebody's going to pull up and say, why were they all black? Or why? So we're going to have something to say. Absolutely. The event, for those who were complaining, how much did it cost to get in? So, right. So for all of us that turned out, we got there free. Or as I say, it was at no cost to us. Mm-hmm. Somebody had to put that together. And I don't think no one gave us a grant. All right. The city of Toledo didn't knock on your door and say, hey, look, we want to do something really great, Shannon. We want to have Dr. Umar here, and here's the budget. It didn't go like that, So unfortunately, a lot of us will pick apart. If it wasn't how we said it, it was what he said. If it wasn't what he said, he should have said that at the end, or he should have said it at the beginning. Man, look, did you get the message? All right. Did you buy the book?
Yeah.
All right. What do you think about what he said? And true story about how the educational system, I've worked there, and I know how it is a pipeline to prison. All right. How there is a relationship between treatment, medication, education, incarceration. It just doesn't happen by accident. There are numbers given to every school that determine how many of these young people are going to end up in prison. And they make sure that they toe that line. And I know for a surety, it's a race to the bottom, meaning having schools that are excellent make no money. You got to be in either academic emergency or academic watch.
Wow.
All right. That way, as Dr. Umar said, you can benefit from some of those programs that reward that type of thing. All right. If you can list at least, 5 takeaways from Dr. Umar's visit, what would it be? I mean, I cut you off while you were getting ready to talk about the fake people, but I just can't get enough of having my brother here in Toledo. If you don't like it, it's not like I'm not hard to find. We outside, we inside. All right. I also see I got our brother Jody, who's going to come in, do 5 minutes of heat. We're getting close to that time. 5 takeaways from Dr. Umar, and plus, if you could finish what you were saying, this is awesome.
The as far as the speech was concerned,
he
spoke about the school to prison pipeline, basically how we understand there's actually funding to misdiagnose our children.
Teach.
And schools are receiving that funding. So what better way to do it than to get that Black boy or that Black girl who has just a mom barely coming to the school to see about them.
That's
and
right.
All they need is, as you mentioned earlier, the professionals that we really get intimidated by to sit with you and say, well, I think, he has a problem with, reading, or he has a problem with math. I think he may need this IEP, or he may need, to see this psychologist for this reason, for them to be diagnosed with this medication, for them to be able to say, okay, he's ADHD or he has disruptive behavior disorder. So they give them this medication. The school is now receiving this X amount of funding. And so the story continues to go with our Black boys and our Black girls. He talked about that. Also, he talked about a whole lot of other things too. I probably won't get into it. If you haven't seen the video, it is out on Facebook. There's a lot of excerpts. You guys can kind of see it. But he spoke about how his book is written exclusively for the parent. It's like a Black Bible.
That's
for
right.
Our children, pre-written with all sample letters for you to be able to use to go to staff, to write to staff, to the Board of Education, whomever you need to get those letters out to, and all the reading in between. It's necessary. Get the book, read the book, The Black Parent Advocate. If you need the book, I will actually have some at the end of this month. So you can reach out to me via Facebook. Shannon Riven is my name. Simple as that. Reach out to me, inbox or whatever, if you're interested in the book. It is a $50 book, but $50 worth it. And worth the investment.
I could spend $50 at McDonald's.
You can spend a bad $50 at McDonald's,
and I could get a quarter tank of gas for $50.
Yes,
so miss me with
absolutely.
that. That's a look.
This is something you can
That's
keep.
right.
It's 500 pages of nothing but information.
Teach.
Yeah, so I definitely highly suggest, encourage any parent who has a child with an IEP currently or dealing with some things and you're really unsure about how to handle the teachers or how to handle, principal staff of any sort. Get this book. It will definitely be beneficial to you. I did want to just thank a few other people because these people were such staples in me being able to pull this event off. And it was a lot of individuals. There was no organizations, there was no coalition.
That's right.
There was no, huge churches
Nope.
or anything like that. I will say that I did reach out. I will say that there were some who said that they would support, and they left silent, and I let it be. So,
Yep,
but
that's
with
how you
that
do
being
it.
said, Scrumptious Baby Cakes, Letitia McKinley, I totally appreciate her. She was huge for me, just even as an ear to listen to me and really to continue to encourage me, as well as my hairstylist, Salon Onyx, Alina Dunbar.
Well, all right.
Yeah, she was absolutely amazing. She went above and beyond anything I could have imagined. I'm so grateful for her. Community Ambassador Terry Crosby, from Taylor Auto. I really, really, really appreciate him really stepping in and trying to help me, talking to me, encouraging me, giving me ideas about new things to come. I really appreciate that. CSRN Network, you for definitely helping me, even allowing me to be on the podcast, for financial support. Truly appreciate that. KLC Transportation, Rochelle McCullum in Baltimore, Maryland, Brandon Crosby, The Truth newspaper. Sister Annette Crosby allowed me to be inside of the Sojourner Truth and featured the event in there. Team of security and safety. Azzy's Creation. She made sure that I had my red, black, green balloon set up back there.
That's right.
And it was absolutely amazing. And Dr. Umar Johnson for showing up and showing out.
That's right. That's
truly,
right.
Truly appreciate that. And of course, my husband, my children, my family, my nieces who are always saying, Auntie Shannon, I know you can do it. I'm so happy
That's
for you. I'm
right.
so proud of you. Those little things mean a whole lot because this was a tough thing for me to do and to pull off. And I was happy to be able to do it for my city, for my people.
That's beautiful. And be on the lookout for some other things that's going to be coming up. And anything that I can do, helping to promote the book, we're willing to do that.
Okay.
To get the word out, to tag people, to let people know that it's here. And you're not going to find these things in a meme. You're not going to find it on a link.
No.
It's got to be a book that you can open up and read.
Yes.
In order to make that happen. If you could just don't leave. I'm going to bring Jody on right now. He's in our green room. Let's bring our brother on. How you feeling today, brother?
Hey, everybody, feeling good. In the green room, on the green.
All right, I see you. Hey, listen, we are on our last leg of this podcast. We had Brother Omar, Gent call earlier. We have Sister Shannon in the studio talking about Dr. Umar being in town and all of the things that we benefited from that. Hey, before we even get into 5 minutes of heat, if you could tell everybody, who are you? All right, and what are you wearing today? That's not what you normally wear.
What's up, everybody? Jody J. Summers, child of the system, better known as Spoken Tree. I am the treasurer of this wonderful organization, amongst many others in the city. I'm an author, poet, illustrator, filmmaker, just a creator in general, chef. And right now I'm at work, which during baseball season on Tuesdays, I give up the ability to be there in person certain days, like today is baseball week, to do this, to still be active, involved. You're going to hear this helicopter that keeps circling over everywhere. But and then next week I'll actually be live in studio. But yeah, I want to say, unfortunately, I did share it. The 11th was a 56-hour week for me, along with 4 concerts, 2 venues, and 1 fundraiser. So most of my stuff either happens before 3 or after 9, and that's where I was at. But I did share it, and happy birthday, because I saw your birthday was during that week too.
Yes,
Okay. All right. I had no idea. All right. You got one up on me. Well, really 5 or 6, but I would just say. All right. So before we log off, if we could do some loose ends, any of the things that you were involved in, any of the things that you see coming up that we need to be aware of, what would those things be?
Well, I know on the 27th, there's a little 4-part miniseries called Black Men Unfiltered going on at Mount Branch Library at 2 o'clock. Shout out to the educated activists and our wonderful co-treasurer and administrative lead, Ruth Leonard. This is a movie that I helped produce, so I have production credits, and I'm in the movie. Also, I want to shout out, I want to say Mark Dog, but it's how it is on Facebook. Anyway, Sons of Toledo right now is being screened in Atlanta. Last week or week before last was New York. I wish them the best. I wish us the best because this film is not just one individual. I believe he might be up for Best Actor, and then we got the directors and supporting cast, but it is about us, Toledo itself. And over the weekend, we had, 4 more cases to add to those numbers. And that movie kind of highlights what we see on a daily basis.
Yes,
so
sir.
I hope that puts some positivity and awareness out into the world, and that there's nobody out there like, oh, well, they made a little short film. No, we kind of invited people into our home. Another loose end for me, because as I came in and was in the back of the green room, I noticed that in the talk for Dr. Umar was about, I guess, how the healthcare and mental field prescribes its own customers. That's where I can say it, because as a kid, as she was saying, I was one of those misdiagnosed teens and stuff. I like to read books. I like to do stuff outside of school. So when I did go to school, I have a photographic memory, so I didn't take notes. I just came in, passed tests, all that other good stuff. But they were always argumentative with me about books that were outdated. So I was always considered combative, especially when I brought in updated books that my mother had got me. So they tried to put me on things for depressants or being aggressive. I've been this way my entire life. So even imagine a little boy this big saying what he knew was right, what he knew was wrong, and maybe I was still learning information, but I've always been dead fast on the truth. That affects people, again, that are prescribed to profiting off of people's pain, profiting off of people who have a human tick. Let's call them that. It doesn't mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean something needs to be prescribed for you. Maybe you just need a little conversation or somebody to listen to you, which I'm hearing from so many of these teams that are going out here doing this stuff. They don't get attention at home. They don't get attention from their teachers and their friends unless they do something that is like so outlandish, so crazy that makes them go viral. It kind of ruins their life. Yeah, so that's my little tea on that.
All right. Hey, listen, when it comes to 5 minutes of heat, we had started doing 5 minutes of heat, I think maybe 2014. When we first started, we have a unique way of closing out instead of slamming a gavel down. You know, we don't do all of that here. We use creative expression, kind of what we saw at the beginning of Dr. Umar. So I was feeling that I was there for it. And Jody, Sister Shannon were all of those your relatives that sung? Man, okay, man, look, at our next thing that we do, we always open up all of our events with Lift Every Voice and Sing. And if we properly plan, I'm going to ask Mr. Shannon if yes, that was the most powerful Lift Every Voice and Sing that I've ever heard, because it's young people. It's the young people. I had coordinated self-expression team theater for about 20 years, and before we open up all of our rehearsals, we would sing that. And that's when, I came to know that's a prayer. It's a song, but it's a prayer for the Joshua generation that's here now. So almost did 5 minutes of heat there. Hey, those were almost bars. Almost hit the bars, all right? But hey,
Well, words are bars and spells. That's why they call it spelling.
okay, all right, okay. I did
I
not
like the way you think, Joe.
I did not expect to come on this podcast and get taught. All right, but all right. Yes, sir. When it comes to 5 minutes of heat, what do we have today, and how do you come up with the how do you come up with it all?
My life. My life is the I guess the muse that I use to draw for my work. So I'm not forcing anything into reality or pretending like manifesting money or wealth or happiness is going to make me feel better. I let my feelings out through my writings, my poetry, my performances, even the community service when I'm giving thousands of book bags away. That's something that was never done for me as a kid. So I made it my mission to not force myself to say, hey, I'm here and I'm going to help you, but to at least be that shade tree when you do need help. Because some people just aren't ready for it yet. Some people cannot deal with their own vulnerability or their own emotions. And it's been almost 8 years. And in the beginning, I was nowhere near this confident, but it came from
That's right.
Consistency, repetition, and purpose, or consistency, purpose, and repetition, CPR, which I kind of did with my career. The piece that we're going to do today is called Tears of Stone. It is the second to last set out of Spoken Truth, and actually the piece that I wrote inspired by Black Men Unfiltered, because unfortunately we started out, I believe, with 26 cast members, and by the time the first release, we only had, or no, we started out with 27, and by the end we had 26 because one of our brothers had been taken too soon, best way to say it. So this piece is about, and also I think people confuse my writing with like I'm telling them something. These are the emotions from me, kind of giving some type of artistic thing, but this is the male perspective. I can't give you what a youth, a teen, or a woman should feel because I'm not them, so I can't speak for them. So, Tears of Stone. Let's begin. Peace. I can't cry. Yes, I can't cry. I don't have long enough to linger in one emotion for too long. Happy, sad, upset, reminiscent, or just pure tears of joy. There are so many moving parts, and I feel if I sink too much emotion into one thing, yes, one thing, I'll become lost. So many things depend on me to be this statuesque figure, burned, yes, burned into the minds of everyone I meet. To be that thing, that substance, that inspiration that might peak growth inside of them. So I cry inside. Yes, I cry inside, filling up wells, yes, wells of bottomless remorse for people who just tried to hang on too long. It's not you. No, it's not you. It's definitely me. See, I never learned how to attach. I've always been bounced, yes, bounced from one situation to another before my synapses could fully react and take heed to the environment and understand that they were real. Yes, real. So I smile. Yes, I smile. Because in that crooked grin, I give you every, yes, every emotion I wish I could say out loud. My fear, my pain, my love, my loss, my joy, and every, yes, every emotion that's encapsulated the growth of me in those few pearly whites. So I don't cry in front of people. Yes, I don't cry in front of people. But if you saw my tears, yes, if you saw my tears, you are blessed and cursed. Because those few, yes, those few precious moments of vulnerable insecurity something I don't show the world. That, yes, that is the ultimate form of trust I can give. Not laughs, ha ha, jokes, stoic nature, or the ability, yes, the ability to connect with all of you. Yes, all of you, even in just a few moments. But the liquid that drips from my face when the wells, yes, the wells overflow, and I just need a moment. Thank you for this moment. In peace.
All right, and as always, I don't know if they can hear my fingers snapping through the microphone. Thank you, thank you. A couple of loose ends, Jody, that I didn't mention was today our Nguza Saba word for the day is faith, and that's to believe. What does it say right there? Oh, that's to believe with all of our heart in our people, our parents, and our teachers, our leaders, and the righteousness and victory of our struggle. What else did I not mention was Black August. Where is that clip at? Black August. We're celebrating Black August. We've had 3 Sunday CSRN Facebook page take over with Yvette Muhammad. We had our brother Cecil Holston, who is a licensed social worker and clinical therapist. Last week we had our brother Rob Pasker showing us the way to home ownership, which is the way that we combat gentrification. Next Sunday, we're going to have our brother Roy Hodges, who is the president of the African American Chamber of Commerce. If you're in business, this is the brother to call. He is our own Toledo millionaire, and he wants to share the jewels of owning business. And Black August, if you're not familiar with Black August, it began in the 1970s to mark the assassination of the imprisoned Black Panther author and revolutionary George Jackson during the prison rebellion in California. We commemorate Black August in a time of collective grief, clarity, rage, and rebellion. Mighty waves of popular uprising against the ravages of white supremacy and anti-Black racism are flooding the streets and rise within and outside prison walls and reverberating through our communities and institutions, family. Black August is something that we recognize each and every year, just as we recognize Kwanzaa, just as we recognize Juneteenth, just as we recognize October 16th, the Holy Day of Atonement, the Million Man March. Family, we gotta take back our own and celebrate our own. Hey, we're gonna close on out. Oh, anything that I missed, Sister Shannon, before we close out?
This is a wonderful podcast.
All right, and listen, sister, you are more than invited without invitation. Anything that you have going on, or you think you might have going on, this is your space. All right, this is your space. Hey, Jody, do you want to close out with? You want us to close out with the solidarity pledge?
Sure, we can.
All right. I'm trying to find. Okay, what I'm going to do, and hopefully, we probably have some little second delay, so we're going to try to get Jody on it. All right. I'm going to say I, you say I, and I'll continue. Say I.
I.
Your name.
Jody.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
Love my brothers and my sisters.
Love my brothers and my sisters.
As I love myself.
As I love myself.
Say I.
I.
Your name.
Jay Summers.
Pledge to strive.
Pledge to strive.
To study.
To study.
To improve myself.
To improve myself.
Spiritually.
Spiritually.
Mentally.
Mentally.
Morally.
Morally.
And physically.
And physically.
Benefit of myself.
For the benefit of myself.
My family.
My family.
And my people.
And my people.
I.
I.
Your name.
Child of the system.
Pledge to strive.
pledge to strive
be a part of the solution
to be a part of the solution,
process
process,
and not the problem.
and not the problem.
I
I,
say your name,
spoken truth,
pledge to strive,
pledge to strive,
give all that I could spare
to give all that I can spare
of my time,
of my time,
my strength,
my strength,
and energy
and energy
to achieve
to achieve
the above said.
the above said.
All right, that's our CSRN Solidarity Pledge that was first said. A lot of people heard it for the first time at the Million Man March, 1995. I was there when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan called all of us to Washington, D.C. Nearly 2 million of us came, and he asked all of us to atone for not meeting the mark for being fathers, for not meeting the goal of being uncles, brothers, and nephews. And he wanted all of us to go back and join an organization. He said to join the NAACP, join a church, join the Urban League, join an organization that's helping your community. And he asked all of us to register to vote. He asked all of us to go back and be better men. And I came back in 1995. I joined the Nation of Islam in 1991. And it's on us now. Days of needing a leader to ask if you can do something is over. We're always going to need elders. All right. We're always going to need elders that we may need to ask for some wisdom. But right now, we got this. All right. And if I got to wait and ask Jody if I could stand up, if I could sit down, if I could breathe, you'd be waiting a long time.
Yep. That's why I wrote Broken Clock. How much longer will we keep waiting for a handout to get a hand up?
You know, I've been done a long time ago. Right. I'm done with that, you know, and of course, going through the process of asking people, all of us have to go through that in order to realize, bro, you're going to have to do this yourself. All right. You know, and I try my best with the young people that I engaged to let them know that they have all the tools that you need. If you need an elder, you could call them, but you don't have to ask us everything. Go on out there, make it happen, because some of us will just slow you down. You don't need to use the internet. You don't need, come on. All right. So, hey, Jody, as always, all lives can't matter until
Black lives matter.
And Black lives can't matter. Lives matter. Justice most, peace. Hey, thank you, Jody. I'll talk to you soon.
All right.